Hawa, Hawa, eternal vibration to all of you. Water is powerful, water is beautiful, water is a flow, water is frequency, and there's no denying that. Water can be calm, it can be soothing, or it can wash your ass up. When we choose water, we feel the peace and we feel the power. So it is peace and it is power to all of you to regain your power, regain your energy. It's fair use in your caboose, boom! For all those that want to come between our criticism and our comments and our teachings and our scholarship and our research, we are fair. It tips the balance in fair use because we are fair with how we approach our research. We are fair about it. We surf the wave. We ask questions. We're not afraid of questions. We're not afraid to ask the right questions. And for that, you are pure water. Let's jump into it. The frequency, the physics of the Creator, true chronology. Let's jump into this water. Let's get some more of this pure water and see if we can get some babies out of the bath water. I love y'all. Let's go.
Our planetary shift of this pulse. This is a water droplet.
Water droplet.
You're going to see. And in this water droplet, a frequency is being pumped into this water droplet. As the frequency is mirrored in the droplet, you'll actually see the geometric patterns in that droplet. Now what's happening, and the reason that this is so significant, is because we're going to do a frequency sweep. We're going to go from low frequencies to higher frequencies. And what you'll find is this. You'll see that in the lower frequencies, the patterns are less complex. And in the higher frequency, the patterns are more complex. So we're going through a sweep from lower to higher frequency. I'm sharing this with you now because Earth is essentially going through a frequency sweep.
Wow. Wait a minute, we're going to get into it, but don't you feel that right now? Don't you feel the frequency, the polarizing, the polarization, the polarity? The Earth itself is spitting out chaos. All chaos is revealing itself. It can't hold it no more. It's bottled up. It's exploding. All chaos is exploding. So, choose up. Do your best to dodge the hijack, and if you got to go through the hijack, then you fucking go through the hijack. And you get to the other side, all praise the Creator. Of whatever stands in your way of being pure, water. Now, water is a frequency, and the earth is a frequency, and there is a frequency change. Does that have anything to do with the Maya calendar? The frequency change, a shift, a wave. We are all feeling this, all my people, all my tribe, all the seed, from the earth to the turf. You're feeling it. Do not deny it and do not deny yourself. Thank you for coming over here and getting some babies out. Get your babies, man. And just keep flowing, man, and keep teaching yourself, teaching your children all you can. Reading what you can, digging on the perspective. Pick it up, put it down, drop it off if you don't, jive with it. Pick it back up later if you need to. You're free to do that because you can flow here. It's not any standardized situation and this, that. You can flow over here. You can flow over here without the criticism. We maintain a hijack-free environment. We've always done that. I work hard to keep the static blocked out of this frequency. Y'all don't even know. Yo don't even know, nah. But we're just going to dig on this water droplets because we're only talking about the drop. Pure water.
This is a water droplet that you're going to see. And in this water droplet, a frequency is being pumped into this water droplet. As the frequency is mirrored in the droplet, you'll actually see the geometric patterns in that droplet. Now what's happening, and the reason that this is so significant, is because we're going to do a frequency sweep. We're going to go from low frequencies to higher frequencies.
Let's go.
And what you'll find is this. You'll see that in the lower frequencies, the patterns are less complex. And in the higher frequency, the patterns are more complex. So we're going through a sweep from lower to higher frequency. I'm sharing this with you now because Earth is essentially going through a frequency sweep. Our fundamental pulse, our base pulse that has hovered around 7.8 cycles per second, now is changing. And again, there's a lot of controversy about what the change is, and we're witnessing the change. As we go through our planetary shift of this pulse, patterns of energy must change to respond to that, just as patterns of energy in this water are changing to respond to this pulse.
Pay attention.
And we'll begin with simply the concentric patterns in the water as the frequency begins. Every once in a while, we'll reach a key threshold resonance, such as that moment right there. And in that key threshold resonance, the entire pattern morphed into a more complex expression of itself, simply because the frequency changed. Now watch what happens. The frequency is still increasing. Now watch what happens. As we reach another key threshold resonance, this entire pattern will morph into a beautifully and more complex pattern of itself.
Wow.
Again and again.
Wow.
And look at this pattern right here. Look what you're seeing right here. Look at the beautiful geometry. Here's a...
Wow. Now, this is just a droplet of water. Put a vibration on it, put an intention on it, it becomes. The Creator said, the earth was without form and all that. Then with the word, it began with the word, with wisdom, with the word. Berashit. Now with this word comes a vibration which gives you form, framer, and your shaper. Come on. So as you get ready for this, just please believe the earth is going to look a lot different once it tunes up. And are you tuning up with it? Are you feeling it? And if you ain't, then you got to let go of whatever hijack frequency you're in and find it so you can grab this wave. Get with it or get left on.
Perfect cube. There's a perfect tetrahedron, a star tetrahedron. In 2 dimensions, we've got the octahedron. Very powerful images of sacred geometry held in place simply because we've achieved the vibratory pattern that allows that in this water droplet.
432, 864, 1728, higher octaves above the barrier.
And as the vibration increases, these patterns will become more and more complex. You can see the pulse from where you are. Can you see the pulse actually in the water? As we go into the last set of the frequencies, what you'll see is that the entire, and you'll watch along the outer perimeter, the entire pattern reaches its greatest level of complexity, and then it goes back. As the frequencies drop, it goes back to what it was, the concentric circles.
Wow. So it's amazing because it's all these things in one. When it goes up another octave, reaches another threshold, goes into another octave, it's still on the same harmonic scale. So whether it's this complexity or that complexity, it's all the same thing. We have different waves, You might, catch me in the mood, where I'm just more chill back and G and I'm kicking it. Another move, I might be more complex. I'm the same person, but there's different dimensions to this particular energy here. And it's up to us. It's up to me to choose my vibration. Every choice I make ain't going to be the right choice. But the steady walk, it's a marathon, man. It's a marathon, not a sprint, right? Every stumbling block, you get up. Every stumbling block, you get up. Every bad decision, bad choice, Get up. Every time you slip, you get up. Every time somebody blindside your ass, try to cut your legs off. Man, you handle your business and you keep it mobbing. It's who you are based on your water, based on your purity. That every time that pressure gets put on you, you crystallize. Other people, pressure comes and it busts pipes. That's the difference between chaos and order, and it's order over chaos.
As it was originally. It almost looks alive. You know, you've been offered many times the concept that thought is vibration. Have you ever considered that emotion is vibration?
Wow.
Feeling is vibration. We are always feeling something. We are always emoting something. We may not always be aware of what that is. We carry those patterns with us. As we hold a feeling and an emotion, what we're doing is we are holding a vibratory pattern in the liquid crystal of our bodies.
Wow.
Has now been scientifically shown to be provable. And what you're going to see now are what happens to particles of sand and other various particles when a sound resonates across a plate. And
let's just get that last little part again.
Always.
Pay attention, because this is what's happening in your life right now. Everyone's getting jammed up by static, hijack, 101. You're in hijack matrix, man. Hijack 101. All the hijacks are revealing themselves right now, man. That's their design. By energy, by flow, chaos. All is revealing itself before your eyes. Now, how you harbor that energy, how you crystallize that energy, how you crystallize those spells that those are putting on you, not liking, you know what I'm saying? Oh, okay. Man, well, he's a different person, or she's a different this, or their thoughts are different. Therefore, we're not relating the same. I'm connecting this to you, people, because I feel you. We're all going through it. You see me in real time under this particular lens going through it. And I look forward to crystallizing with you in a major way, man. So just be expecting major crystals, you know what I'm saying? But we're all going through it. So how you deal with it, he's going to break down the embodiment of when people do this to you, how this spell manifests in you when you hold on to it, when you hold it in. You got to just release it. You got to release it however you're going to release it. You know what I'm saying? But we do our best to choose up, but check it out, how others can put intentions on your crystals. The same way you have crystal trees and they get cut down or they get hijacked, right? See, Devil's Tower, Wyoming, all these tree stumps, these crystals were hijacked. Other intentions were put on these crystals. Now, when someone puts a negative vibration on you, it can manifest and does manifest in you if and when you allow it. And the point of being, energy and the alchemy of the energy is getting the pure substance to know that whatever negative vibration somebody puts on you, you can turn it into a positive. That's the secret of alchemy, not the gold. You're the gold. And there's gold in you. You are the gold. You are the magnetization. You are the energy. You are the connectivity. You are the water.
Is feeling something.
Drop
We're
nation.
always emoting something. We may not always be aware of what that is. We carry those patterns with us. As we hold a feeling and an emotion, what we're doing is we are holding a vibratory pattern in the liquid crystal of our bodies.
Has now been scientifically shown to be provable. And what you're going to see now are what happens to particles of sand and other various particles when a sound resonates across a plate and resonates those particles in tune with the sound. Because when we think, we're not just sending out a wave which resonates the energy, we're sending out on a frequency outside of the range of human hearing, we're sending out a sound. Everything is sound.
Wow.
When we think, a sound goes out, it resonates the energy around us to that sound.
Every thought you have is a sound. Meditate on that. We could stop this shit right now. Cut it off. Just meditate on what you're just hearing. the liquid crystals and the intentions being put on you by these vibrations, and the way that you are here to master it. Let static be static. Let chaos be chaos. You're here to master it. They are designed for you to master you in this matrix. Sound, energy, frequency, vibration is all there is.
And what you're about to see are some pictures that show this happening when sound is introduced, and how sound takes random particles and turns it into astonishing form. And that's how this universe was created. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was sound.
Bang.
So what you're looking at here is merely particles formed into patterns by sound. They were all over the place to start with, just in random positions on the plate. As soon as the sound appears, they form into these patterns, because everything is sound, and it is sound that turns matter and energy into form. Patterns on wings of birds and insects are all the manifestation of the sound vibrations.
Think about the scriptures, you know, how, Moses and coming down and, finding everybody slipping, had to discipline people for, going after other energies. You remember how they didn't even want to really hear the Creator? They said, man, can you please intercede for us and the Creator? Because you're dealing with pure sound. Consciousness, sound, water, conscious, vibration. It is what makes you. You think that chair you're sitting on is physical? It's just vibrating at a certain vibration, a certain sound. You think the thing, your laptop and these crystals, it's all sound. Everything has been manipulated into sound, but they're doing it for their own corporations and for your cooperation. As long as you cooperate, so goes it. But when you cooperate with the Creator, with the sound, with the original sound, with Hawa, pure water appears.
Every organ in our body resonates to a certain frequency. And when our thoughts and emotions and stress and the vibrations that causes de-harmonize the vibrational state of our various parts of our body, we become ill. We think ourselves into illness because we're affecting the vibrational state of the body. And so every time you think and feel, you're resonating a frequency which is making the energy around you resonate to the same frequency. What you give out is what you create.
Bang.
Here you're seeing mini galaxies just formed by particles and sound. This is how the galaxies and the universe and the solar systems were formed and continue to be held in the structure they're in. Through sound. If the sound changes, the matter changes, the energy changes. So when you look at what it says in texts like even the Old Testament, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was sound. And sound is everything. When you think and feel, you're creating sound. This is how the heart beats at a certain resonance. All you're looking at here are interacting frequencies making a beat. And so while the frequency of the heart is at the right level, beats in the normal number of beats a minute. But when we become stressed, we affect that frequency and the heart beats faster. And so everything is sound, even the human heartbeat, and the interacting frequencies that make it happen. And we've seen the galaxies, and now here are the planets forming, just on a plate from particles caused by sound passing through them. This planet has a resonant frequency. It's called the Schumann cavity resonance. But basically, while that frequency holds, the planet will hold its present form. If the frequency changes, the form will change. It's the same.
Dodge the hijacking out of the ball. But, you know what I'm saying, in a vacuum, right? But, yeah, we're dealing with sound. We're dealing with frequency and resonance. And, yes, this Earth has a resonance. And you can research the old Bell experiments like Pac Bell and all the Bell this and Bell that. But, you know, they did a whole, had their radio towers, and they were trying to figure out what the interference was that they were getting. No matter where they pointed their radars, they were getting interference. They kept calling it interference. They went all throughout, nation to nation, putting their radars up and they kept getting the same interference. And eventually they said, well, that must be just the frequency of the universe or of the creator or above the barrier. They were getting a regular vibration. So what they did was crank their radio signals up to a frequency that was, slightly the natural one, but to another vibration of it to, create so that their technology can work, so that all their mathematics and all their systems can work and now operate without the interference. But the interference is your natural frequency, and they kept getting interfered on. So now they got you in an unnatural frequency, and we'll get more into that. Of course, we know that's 440. We've been digging on that 528 as well. But it's harmony or nothing.
With everything. And here you see sound being passed through iron filings and particles, and therefore creating form once again. And from these pictures, it's hardly difficult to see how the human body is formed through sound resonating energy, and how that physical form is held as long as that sound matrix is held. But once that changes, the physical body changes.
As the earth.
So there you've seen, with stunning effect, how sound creates form, how galaxies are created, how planets are created. And all those planets, balls of particles, all those revolving galaxies were merely particles turned into that form by sound.
All right. We'll get the babies out, man. Vibration. Let's get a couple more minutes of this. Pure water, baby. Wow, love to the tribe. Jake Stu, what it do? Yeah. It's kind of a cold beat though, man. Let's go. Some freestyle facts, man. Water is more than simply a physical substance. It is a certain concept. That concept is connected. Nah, we need all that. Let's get it again. Alright, water is more than simply a physical substance. It is a certain concept, and that concept is connected in a very special way with the idea of life. There we go. Come on. Masaru Emoto's research demonstrates that human vibrational energy, thoughts, words, ideas, and music affect the molecular structure of water. The very same water that comprises over 80% of a mature human body, and covers the same amount of our plane. All right, let's go.
This next series of photographs are the work of Japanese researcher Mr. Masaru Emoto from his book, The Message from Water. Mr. Emoto's work provides factual evidence that human vibrational energy, thoughts, words, ideas, and music affect the molecular structure of water. Please remember that water comprises over 70% of a mature human body and covers the same amount on our planet. Water is the very source of all life. This photo shows the beautifully formed geometric design of the Yushi Spring water. This next photo is from the Shimanto River, the last clean spring in Japan.
Real water, man. Pure water,
Notice the
baby.
extraordinary geometric forms. The fact that the molecular structure of water can be affected by our consciousness, our intent, and our sounds is extremely important. This photo is from the Mount Cook Glacier in New Zealand. Mr. Emoto has been visually documenting these molecular changes in water by means of his photographic techniques. He freezes droplets of water, then examines them under a dark field microscope that has photographic capabilities. His work clearly demonstrates the diversity of the molecular structure of water and the effects of the environment upon the structure of the water. This photo is from the fountain in Lourdes, France.
So take a pause for the cause and think about Flint. Think about the lead poisoning. Think about all the lead that's being pumped in, all the bullshit fluoride they're putting in everything, all these chemicals. Think about how they poisoned the water systems before when they came here. Just like they're poisoning the water system now. They're doing the same thing. Because water is so important. Water is so important because when you're putting this toxic stuff in you, you're not able to crystallize. So if you can take a sample like that of just a drop of water, what would your drop of water represent? I mean, we would all like to think that you take our drop of water, you know what I'm saying? Everybody in Drop Nation, everybody waking up, you know what I'm saying? You know, that we all got this crystallized form. And we hope so, but that's just what we strive for, you know what I'm saying? This is what you're striving for. You know, other people who represent water, you take a drop of that, and you're going to see what you get.
This photo is from contaminated water from the Yodo River in Japan.
Bang. This is what you'll get with some folks. So when you're dealing with dodging hijacks, this is the hijack crystal. This shitty ass looking thing right here. And it's reflected in their speech. It's reflected in their actions, in their mannerisms, in their mood. And you see these people every day. You're surrounded by this hijack, right? They got more of this than anything, these parasites, this bacteria. We don't get into this bacteria, man. This parasitic bacteria, man. So we strive to be pure water, and that's why we promote vibration awareness. That's why we try to get that 432 out there, because we know that we can crystallize the grid for us. We're going to get into the electric grid. Let's go.
In this photo, we can compare the contaminated water with clean stream water.
Pure
Look
water.
at the difference. Mr. Emoto decided to see what effects music would have upon the structure of water. He placed distilled water between two speakers for several hours while playing different music and then photographing the crystals that formed after the water was frozen. This photo is of water being exposed to Beethoven's Pastorale. This photo is the effect of Bach's Air for the G-string on the water. This photo is water exposed to Chopin's Farewell Song. This next photo is water being exposed and affected to music that was designed for healing.
So when we're bumping our music and we're tuning it, and that's why I say I love to everyone signing up to Sugar Sing. Keep hitting me up, man. If you want to try our 432, we're doing 50 songs a month for everybody for free. I'm going to keep that going for April as well for free, man. Just for the community. I'm trying to get everyone's music in 432 that we can. Send it to, hit me up at music@432thedrop.com, and I'll email you the upload link, because this is so important. How are we missing this? We could talk about all these other issues that's happening, all this other stuff, but then somehow we're triggered against basic frequency and vibration. And our music is so important, how they're getting us everything tuned to 440 hertz. And you're banging out the radio, you're getting it out your MP3s. Every CD you ever bought, man, has been tuned to 440 hertz, a disharmonic frequency that separates. Its duplicity versus unity. How important do you think it is to be in the right vibration? Do you think you can just overlook that and read scripture? The scripture is only to tune you up, to crystallize you into a pure form. First you seek your energy, then you can extract the babies that's been there, translated and translated and translated. Finally put in your hands, you can get the pure water that still exists, because they always mix a little bit of truth in their fiction. That's how these devils move. They give you some truth and a lot of fiction. So look at this. Look at the crystallization. Check out the music. Understand, understand, comprehend that it's all a vibration, and your music is ultra important. We've always been musical. We've always loved music. We've always loved expressing ourselves through music, dancing and beats. That's who we are. That's the, you know what I'm saying? We're the downbeat. You know what I'm saying? You need a downbeat to every song. You need that bottom beat. We're the bottom beat to this entire earth. We're the bottom beat. We're the root. We're the bass line, man. We're the music. We're the crystal. We're the tree.
This photo is of water being exposed to the Kawachi folk dance. This photo shows the effect of heavy metal music.
And like I said, get the babies out, because they say heavy metal music, but you know what I'm saying, you might have some, you know, heavy metal music that you can do, or tune the 432, or, you know what I'm saying, I would love to see those experiments. You know, take Nirvana and tune it to 432 and then test it. You know what I mean? But maybe it's based on that particular song they heard that was, you know, saying certain things or had certain intentions, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, overall, I know heavy metal music is damn fucking chaos. We all know that. But I know some people love heavy metal. I guess I've never been into it. But yeah, that'll be a good experiment. Take the, you know, whatever the fuck, Marilyn Manson. Tune it to 432. See how it, you know, if it's possible to even change his intention that he put on it. That's just shit that we think about.
On the water. Here now we can compare the effects of healing versus heavy metal music and what happens to the water molecules. Mr. Emoto decided to see how thoughts and words affected the formation of untreated distilled water crystals by typing words onto paper and then taping this paper onto glass bottles overnight. This photo shows the effects of the words, "Thank you." This next photo shows the effects of the words, "love" and "appreciation."
Wow.
This photo shows the effects of the words, "You make me sick, I will kill you." And here we can compare the effects of "thank you" with the "you make me sick, I will kill you."
And this does something to you. That's why I choose wisely, man. You know, how I get the job. You know, I do my best to get the babies out of bathwater. But if that particular framework is too negative, or if it's too much of this, then this is not even worth getting the drop out. I know that by being pure water and rocking with wisdom, we'll have all the drop we need. We don't always have to go through all this static to get it. We don't have to be information whores to be tuned into bullshit to get it. Because we need every little bit of everything. You have to choose up. Know that your creator exists in you and is revealing everything in you. And when this is coming out of someone's mouth, and this is coming out of someone's thoughts, and this is coming out of someone's intentions, then you have to say, does the cost outweigh the benefit, or the benefit outweigh the cost to be this? I would never give up being this for the cost of getting some little mental information when it's not vibration. Information is not vibration. One thing is not the same. Those are two different frequencies, and one is the all, and the other is a very temporary static. And you choose up, no matter who you're dealing with, what walk of life. You've come too far to deal with this, to go through these mazes to get a little bit of drop, when you can just come and flow freely, flow with the wave, flow with the conscious of water, which is Hawa, the establishment. You can flow. You can go your design, you can flow and be you, and leave this static in the dust.
Very, very different geometric forms being incurred through the intention. Now this photo is of a very polluted and toxic water from the Fujiwara Dam.
Toxic. Poison.
Here now is the same water from the Fujiwara Dam after a Buddhist monk had offered a prayer over it.
Wow. All right. So another intention was put on the chaos and turned it into pure water. And that's the creator energy. That's the creator energy. No matter how you slice it, you could do this to water, and you have a pure water frequency. You get something about frequency that others that are just, caught up in a philosophy or ideology aren't getting. You're connecting to the energy, the power that others are not getting, even the ones that it's intended for. It's intended for you, but this Buddhist monk is able to capture it enough to make this happen. Imagine you in your right mind, your right energy. What are you capable of together? All it takes is a handful to make drastic change. All it takes is a handful of crystals to make the entire, energy power up, the entire earth power up, to spark a power source, to plug back into the source. All it takes is that much unity of these intentions, of these thoughts. You let this be your intention every day, every time you go to sleep, every time you wake up in the morning. You all praise the Creator for this energy that exists, and you ask for it to fill you, for you to do the work and flow with this energy and not resist it. Because when you stop resisting, you are Hawa. There's no separation between you and your Creator when you're not resisting the wave, because the wave is the sound. And if you're going with the flow, then guess what? There you go. You got it all. If you go against the flow, it's only temporary, man. It's a temporary layoff.
Prayer, that sound coupled with intention, seems to have an extraordinary ability of restoring water to its natural, harmonious, geometric symmetry. And in this photo we can compare the toxic water and then the effects of praying over the water. It's really quite impressive. These photographs that we have just seen show proof that not only does sound have the ability of affecting and changing physical structure, but that with regard to the molecular structure of water, that our intent with our sound is extremely important. This may have great implications for the future of both personal and planetary harmony and healing.
Connectivity. All right, we're going to pause it right there. This is a great drop. I'll leave it for you. Please keep going, because it's real dope, and I can see us revisiting this energy, because it was right down the pipe, man, for us to flow with. I want to jump right back into that ancient knowledge, man. This is a great joint. It's 7 hours long, so we always belly flop here and there. But now, let's start connecting some dots. Let me help out my people that are at work right now, man. Most pyramids, monuments, and megaliths were built on Earth's energy grid. We'll get on that grid, y'all. Also called ley lines. That's what I said. We spread this frequency. We can change and put, just like that Fukushima toxic water, we can put our vibration back in effect by action, through thought, through the manifestation of our thought, this energy grid, by spreading our vibration. That 432, 4 plus 3 plus 2 is 9. By being the 9, the root of the tree, we can restore this energy based on just our waking up. Just the consciousness alone is connecting all this stuff together. And all we're doing is spreading it. We're using YouTube for now, but we exist far before this and far after this. This is just a, temporary ley line. Also called ley lines, our ancestors have known about these lines for many thousands of years. A ley line is a straight fault line in the Earth's tectonic plates. So the fault lines. Well, this is the magnetism. This is the magnetic energy. There's a scientific fact. What science though refuses to believe, is that through these cracks in Earth's tectonic plates, powerful magnetic energy is being released. Powerful energy is being released in these tectonic plates, not just, oh, that's the fault line. It's powerful energy being released. Released. There's always a release. There's always a flow.
Megalithic sites occur all over the world. Is their placement random? Or does the location of these sites reveal yet another hidden layer of ancient knowledge?
One thing I've found looking at different megalithic structures over a few continents and numerous places around the world, overwhelmingly these places, the pyramids, the Stonehenges, etc. of the world, were placed on ground where an unusual type of geology naturally concentrates the regular daily natural electromagnetic fluctuations that occur everywhere on the earth each day.
So they're hijacking the frequency. The creator put, a frequency in order to it. You know what I'm saying? These lines, these crosses, these lines, these crosses. Again, what's the indigenous cross? It is energy. It is line. It is cardinal points. It is direction. It is crossing over. So what these pyramids are representing here, they're not going as far back as they need to go to your sacred trees and the ley lines of your sacred trees. They're just connecting, the hijack that Thoth did when your trees are cut down, and they built on top of that, just like they came to the pyramids and the Spaniards put churches and cathedrals on top, where the pyramids were, to hijack Egypt's frequency, or to hijack, this sun energy frequency, whatever that is. The pyramid frequency, whatever they're doing. But they had already hijacked the earth frequency that belonged to you, which is why you've been fighting hijacks for a very long time.
You go into England, for example, the ley lines that cross England, the Michael line, which is hundreds of miles long, that crosses England, that carries this energy along that line.
Again, crosses. Before these Christians brought you across, you had energy, people. They can't tell you what a symbol means. Plus, trust me, they can't tell you. They can't claim one symbol. Everything they got is hijacked. How can you hijack two lines crossing each other and say that's Jesus? Come on, man, wake up, activate. So now we're going to Scotland, Highlands, England, the Ross. What's going on? The Picts. All on the energy lines. That's why they're setting up shop at certain areas. Let's go.
It will therefore generate electric currents in the land called telluric currents in the straight geological sense of that word. And those occur everywhere on the planet.
But we know that this ley energy, this subtle energy, passes along these lines.
There are certain special types of geology that will magnify those several fold. And that's where we found the megalith builders preferred to put their monuments.
And typically where lines cross, where you go from one line intersecting, temples were often built.
These are called conductivity discontinuities, which sounds highly technical.
Now they put crosses on your crosses.
But it's merely the place where one area of ground that has a good ability to conduct electricity meets another area of ground that has a lesser ability to conduct these natural.
Hold up, man.
Civilizations were to disappear. Many things would
concentrates the regular daily natural electromagnetic fluctuations that occur everywhere on the earth each day.
You go into England, for example, the ley lines that cross England, the Michael line, which is hundreds of miles long, that crosses England, that carries this energy along that line.
It will therefore generate electric currents in the land called telluric currents in the straight geological sense of that word. And those occur everywhere on the planet.
But we know that this ley energy, this subtle energy, passes along these lines.
There are certain special types of geology that will magnify those several fold. And that's where we found the megalith builders preferred to put their monuments.
And typically where lines cross, where you have more than one line intersecting, temples were often built.
Now, remember these family crests and how they had their crosses on them. And we're like, oh, that must be Jesus. And they're right there in these points, in this Scotland, in these highlands, in these areas, you know what I'm saying, all this kind of stuff, you know what I mean? So what their shield is representing, and I guarantee it's an indigenous crossing of energy, leading to what? The Templar situation, the whole, Solomon, you know what I'm saying, Solomon's temple, Ark of the Covenant, all that stuff that's being put, treasures buried different places, the energy of the land now resonating because of this frequency that's connecting. A cross is a connection. What I'm having with my brothers is a connection. It is a crossing. What we're doing, we're crossing over. Sometimes people cross you over. You're like, damn, that's a crossover, man. Funny business. And you put that stake in their heart. You put that cross, that energy right through them. This cross, this energy,
are called conductivity discontinuities, which sounds highly technical, but it's merely the place where one area of ground that has a good ability to conduct electricity meets another area of ground that has a lesser ability to conduct these natural electric currents.
The Chinese had the same tradition. They called them dragon lines. It was illegal for a commoner to be buried on such a line. A king had to be buried on such a line. They put palaces there. There's a whole series of sacred sites. They're always built on lines like this.
I want to say in this area about the location of temple. You have to have symbols appear on the ground. When it's seen, then this is the place where people naturally come to get more healthy energy from that spot. Energy bubs from the earth.
And it appears as though they were attempting to control the flow of this energy and use it for their own purposes.
The key hours, unfortunately, are the pre-dawn hours. If you really want to study this, you've got to get up at 3 and get out there very fast. That's because the energy that's involved in these sites, that's really fueling most of it, originates with the daily changes in the Earth's geomagnetic field. It's strongest during the day, weakest at night. And in the hours leading up to dawn, the weaker field lines now come roaring back to closer to full strength very quick. It's the most dramatic time in terms of change of magnetic strength per hour. It's the most dramatic time of the day. And wherever you have a changing magnetic field occurring, you are generating electric current in anything present that will conduct electricity. It's a simple principle of physics known as induction, and it's a universal.
Normally, in everyday life, we don't ever see large concentrations of this energy. Normally, it'll show up at, let's say, at mountaintops and sacred sites. You'll feel a certain calm, a certain peace. Sometimes people in those places report mystical experiences. They'll see into some other dimension. Okay, they'll see into some other time. The Chinese have known about this for a long time, and they call it qi. The Hindus, in their ancient texts, call it prana, and the yogis, with that maintain a very ancient tradition, use it. It affects a variety of different processes. Electricity, magnetism has a strong effect on that. So it modifies all the other laws of physics. When you look back on how sacred sites were chosen and buildings like the pyramids were constructed, the suspicion arises that they understood quite a bit more about this stuff than we do, and they may have been using it in their engineering.
then the megalith builders designed these structures and then built them in such a way as to further concentrate those energies. So they definitely seem to have known what they were doing.
To be continued. I just want the belly flop, get a little more of that. Let's keep it going, man. Hope you're having a great time, man, and a great, beautiful energy. We're getting back into chronology. Remember, this is the true chronology, the flamenco, Anatoly. Let's do a quick, super fast recap, for those that haven't caught up on the series yet. Physics of our creator, true chronologies. Alright, Anatoly Flamenco, a Russian chronographer, man, showing you that there's duplicates and phantoms in the timelines. We already dropped that. Alright, they say everything that you think is going down written-wise, a lot of it's happening after the 300s and being pushed back in the BCs, all up past the 900s. And they're finding this stuff in the so-called Middle Ages, Dark Ages, and they're changing the names and the times and the names of the kings and different names and put them in different places on purpose to scatter out your history so you can call it a myth. So Mozak, the founder, is a myth. So Mozak is no longer remembered. And now it's just Khazaria. But before it was Khazaria, it's Mazaka, it's Mosak. Now you see Mashika spread out all over the place. Prester John spread out all over the place. Different names, different Khans. Different names, different Khans. Let's get a few minutes of this. We're going to get some more great drop. Head to the dismount. Love y'all. These examples we have shown clearly demonstrate how mixed up mankind's history is. The chronology of this story is not just broken in a few places, but requires a complete and thorough review. Flamenco!
Выясняется, она требует полного и внимательного пересмотра. Что надо сделать, чтобы увидеть?
How can we see all the contradictions of the standard version of history? Perhaps we should make a map of all the traditional chronicles.
Все противоречия общепринятой исторической версии. Может быть, надо составить глобальную хронологическую карту всей традиционной истории. На первый взгляд,
at first glance, it seems impossible, but nevertheless, the task was doable.
Кажется, что это невозможно. Но, тем не менее, эта задача оказалась выполнима.
Let's go.
Анатолий Тимофеевич
Flamenco Anatoly decided to find out how the world really looks. As a story, to this end, he achieved a tremendous feat.
Фоменко решил разобраться в том, как действительно выглядит мировая история. Для этого он проделал колоссальную работу. Исследовал сотни старинных...
He studied hundreds of ancient texts, tables, records, books, reviewed the ancient and medieval history of Europe, Egypt, Middle East, and the Mediterranean.
Текстов, таблицы, летописи, хроники. Проанализировал древнюю и средневековую историю Европы, Египта, Ближнего Востока, Средиземноморья.
He studied most of the documents which describe the major events of human history which allegedly occurred over the course of 6,000 years, from 4,000 BC to 2000 AD. Allegedly.
Он изучил большую часть документов, которые описывают основные события человеческой истории, происходившие на протяжении 6000 лет, от 4000 года до нашей эры до 1900 года нашей эры.
To provide all this information visually, Anatoly Flamenco made a document for which there had been no precedent. He worked on it for 6 years.
Чтобы представлять всю эту информацию наглядно, Анатолий Фоменко составил документ, аналогов которому еще не было. Ученый работал над ним в течение 6 лет. Все собранные сведения.
All the information collected he depicted on a large chronological scale, elongated along the horizontal time axis.
Он изобразил в виде большой хронологической шкалы, вытянутой по горизонтальной оси времени. На ней были указаны
It consisted of the precise dates of which the founders of our traditional version of history insisted, Scaliger and Petavius.
Те даты, на которых настаивали основатели традиционной исторической версии, Скаллигер и Петавиус.
First, the maps were drawn on graph paper, then the scanned images were transferred to a special
Сначала
material.
карта была отображена на миллиметровой бумаге. Потом ее отсканировали и перенесли изображение на специальный материал. Этот уникальный документ.
This unique method affects its size. The length of the map is 19 meters, and it was the first to geographically depict the history that is taught in schools and universities.
Поражает своими размерами. Длина карты составляет 19 метров. Так впервые было создано графическое изображение истории, которую изучают в школах и университетах.
На этих картах
This map contained tens of thousands of names. All right, so this is from Anatoly. He says this map contains tens of thousands of names, several thousand dates, information, and a disturbance, the main books of the original sources.
были распределены десятки тысяч имен, много тысяч дат, информации о смутах, о главных книгах, о
The
первоисточниках.
main books of the original sources, the chronicles of their dating, the author's chronicle, the author, occurrences in astronomy, and so on.
О летописях, об их датировках, об авторах летописей, о хронистах, об астрономах и тому подобное. Потом,
Then this material was evaluated using the techniques developed by me and my colleagues.
к этому
Flamenco.
материалу были применены разработанные мною и моими коллегами методики, о которых я говорил вкратце. И я отметил...
I noted on this map where there were duplicates. That is, periods that were shown to be similar by these methods.
На этой карте дубликаты, то есть те эпохи, которые оказывались по этим методикам близкими, похожими, зависимыми.
Как это было
How was this done? Anatoly Fomenko divided the history of the world at certain points. Then every era's detail was displayed on the time axis.
сделано? Анатолий Фоменко разделил всю мировую историю на эпохи. Затем каждую эпоху подробно отобразил на оси времени. События, которые происходили...
Periods which had similarities were moved to be simultaneous on this time scale. So this is their method. So these pyramids with similarities, they moved to be simultaneous on the time scale.
Одновременно в разных государствах изображались друг над другом. Чтобы показать, сколько...
To show how much overlap there is in the traditional chronology of historical events, for the main goal, assign each time interval a letter.
В традиционной истории существует повторов исторических событий. Разным временным интервалом Фоменко присвоил разные буквы. Например, эпоха Второй Римской империи...
For example, the era of the Second Roman Empire. Second Roman Empire was marked by the letter K. This same letter was used to mark its duplicates Fomenko had discovered.
Была обозначена буквой К. Этой же буквой были отмечены все ее дубликаты, которые Фоменко обнаружил с помощью своих методов. Другие...
Other historical periods, as well as their duplicates, were identified by other letters, for example, C and P, and were also marked on the map.
Исторические эпохи, а также их дубликаты, были обозначены другими буквами, например, S и P, и также были отмечены на карте.
So, a structure emerges that shows both the time axis and repetitions of historical events. This map was named Global Chronological Map.
Так возникла структура, которая показывала, как на оси времени расположены повторы исторических событий. Эта карта получила название глобальной хронологической карты. Именно она...
That is, it shows what should be the true chronology of historical events.
Показывает, какой должна быть истинная хронология исторических событий. Стало очевидно, что в традиционном...
It became apparent that in the traditional chronology there are three major time shifts, and I think this is ultra important. Ultra drop. And we got to really dig on these time shifts when it comes to digging up our people and digging up the duplicates that have been put either in the past or in the future of the actual event. By approximately 300 years, 1,000 years, and 1,800 years, they put three major time shifts in your history, people. One, they pushed back 300 years. Then they had the same story, changed the name, changed the place, and pushed it 1,000 years back. Then you got the same story, but a different name. And then they changed the name and place and put it back 1,800 years. And they call that their chronology because they're putting all three kings in different periods of time, three major time shifts.
На истории существует три основных временных сдвига. Примерно на 300, 1000 и 1800 лет. И многие реальные исторические...
And lots of real historical events of the Middle Ages were copied on paper by medieval chroniclers and sent into the past. So when they got the drop of what's happening either with Genghis Khan and Togrul, Ong Kong, Wong Kong, you know what I'm saying? Love to my man, I Am Ame'rican. He said, man, Hong Kong is named after Wong Kong, Preston John, priest king, King David. Hong Kong is On Kong, Wong Kong. Now these were the, you know what I'm saying, families fighting against the other hijacked families, more and more, all melanated, all related to some degree, all fighting. And this is what we're talking about, man. So lots of real historical events were found around these 1200s, let's say, and were copied on paper by medieval chroniclers. And then they said, well, I'll send it into the past 300 years. I'll send this one into the past 1,000 years. This one, 1,800 years. And now you read about it. And now when we say, what if that story, what if the book of Daniel was written in the 1200s? What if that's when the Babylonian captivity and all that stuff was cracking off? Now you got the invasion, so-called, this Genghis Khan coming over with you. But then you got Columbus looking for the Grand Khan. The Grand Khan at the same time. Then you got Preston John popping up in 1165. Preston John popping up in 14. That's 300 years difference.
События Средневековья были на бумаге размножены средневековыми хронистами и отправлены...
Remember last time we got about the Kremlin. Alright, so go to the last drop so you can get the Kremlin drop, because they're saying that was where the real Jerusalem was really, you know what I'm saying, being rebuilt at that time during, you know, this particular war that was happening over there. We always built where we were. So that original Kremlin, they were linking to, you know, what was going on, man. So there's a lot of stuff that we don't know about this first Romani situation, this Mosaka situation, the Rus situation, what they're calling the Byzantine situation. All has been hijacked, and now you just see, oh, it must be these Europeans in castles. And they took your history, man, flipped it up, smacked it, and, you know what I'm saying, made pink eye out that shit, diseased it up, and now we gotta get it back. You know, take that infection off, pray over it, and get the crystal back, you know what I'm saying, popping, vibrating, get our crystal back resonating and being pure water with our history, with our frequency. We're connecting the history to the frequency, to the vibration. Let's go. Chronology for the man. Go.
Прошлое. Как это могло произойти, если хронисты средних веков допустили ошибку непреднамеренно?
How could this happen? Did the chroniclers make mistakes? Is it a mistake, you think?
Возьмем 4 старинные летописи. Все они описывают одни и те же события, которые происходили, например, в Европе в 15 веке. Но дело в том, что авторы этих летописей жили не только в разных странах, но даже в разное время. Веков допустили...
How could this happen? If the chroniclers of the Middle Ages made How could this happen? If the chroniclers of the Middle Ages made unintentional mistakes, or are they saying, did they make unintentional mistakes? Do you think they were just, oops, we didn't mean to push it back 300 years, 1,000 years, and 1,800 years, or...
Ошибку непреднамеренно. Возьмем 4 старинные...
Alright, so take the 4 ancient chronicles. They all describe the same events that occur. For example, in Europe in the 1400s. Follow this. Europe, 1400s. Papal Bull. Follow this. Europe, 1400s. Papal Bull. Follow it.
Все они описывают одни и те же события, которые происходили, например, в Европе в 15 веке. Но дело в том,
But the authors of these chronicles were living not only in different countries, but even at different times. They spoke and wrote in different languages and used a different calendar.
что авторы этих летописей жили не только в разных странах, но даже в разное время. Они говорили и писали на разных языках, использовали разные летоисчисления.
Not surprisingly, in telling of the same king, priest king, same king, priest king, King David, same king, city or battle, but they gave them totally different names. Not surprisingly. You think that's on accident? That you got your priest king popping up all over the place with different names. We say, man, is Prester John Solomon? Is he David? Is he Mansa Musa? Is Montezuma? It's all these things, all these rich melanated people, kings with all this gold, different times and places. Now we're getting it. Now we're connecting it. They've been given different names. We said it's Cuzco to Joshua. It's Huey Mock Moses. They've been given different names. Let's go.
Удивительно, что, рассказывая об одном и том же короле, городе или сражении, они давали им совершенно разные названия. Поэтому, когда хронисты 16-17
Therefore, when chroniclers in the 15 to 1600s read these records, they decided that they were talking about 4 very different eras, man. Body bag for the illusion.
прочитали эти летописи, они решили, что речь идет о 4 совершенно разных эпохах.
And instead of putting these accounts simultaneously, just like in Egypt with their Nasuts, and they, had different Nasuts, different nomes, different, Nasuts ruling different places simultaneously. A lot of times in the chronology, they were put, one after the other, extending this history, extending this timeline, when in reality they were simultaneous events. And instead of putting these accounts simultaneously on the time axis, they arranged them in sequence, that is, one after another. Bang.
Для того, чтобы поместить эти летописи на оси времени одну над другой, они расположили их последовательно, то есть друг за другом.
They left one chronicle in the 1400s. A second they pushed back 300 years. So you got the 1400 Prester John, the 1100 who wrote, a letter from Prester John in 1165. Then you got this Kalelus and Theodorus situation happening in the 700s. They pushed back 300 years. A third, they pushed back 1,000 years. And the fourth, back 1,800 years from the same point. So if you're starting at this point, 1400s, and they pushed an event 300 years back, then they say, well, let's push it 1,000 years back from that. So then you got, the 400s, 500 stuff is happening. We're connecting all this stuff in the 600s and 700s. All right. And the fourth, they push back 1800. So you might have some so-called BC information. And it's all the same thing with these medieval chroniclers that do not have your best interest at heart, that are making a confederacy against you, that are melanated just like you, are destroying times and laws.
Летопись они оставили в 15 веке, вторую отодвинули назад на 300 лет, третью назад на 1000 лет, а четвертую на 1800 лет.
Drop off.
Соединили их вместе.
Keep dropping them off. Same story, same king, same history, but different times. So now you think it's ridiculous to put these things together to surf this wave, right? Put them all together and you get a very long history, right?
И получилась очень длинная хронология.
A very long history, right?
Только с помощью методов статистической математики.
Only with the help of mathematical statistics can we have a truly objective analysis of old texts. Without them, unfortunately, it is impossible to construct a chronology. And now, we got the rest of this, how, they used the math and, showed, okay, if this writing was describing the stars and it was describing it a certain way, then maybe you can use that particular pattern and find, did this eclipse happen at this time, or did this eclipse happen at that time, and start adding it up with astronomy, adding it up with mathematics to see which is the real one, which is the real one, which is the phantom, or which is the duplicate. Phantoms and duplicates. Let's keep going. For the man go. Now you got these researchers. Where they at? Where'd I get them? Where's my parallel timelines? Let me pull that up right quick. So then you got the parallel timelines, what we got before. And, these are researchers that are researching, this flamenco work, that we didn't really know much about. Love to the family. Love to all the family that's sharing these great links, Whoever dropped this, sorry, I forgot where this first came from, but love to you, because I know someone dropped it on me. So then we started using it as a resource. So parallel timelines in history, we keep coming back to it. And I love all y'all, man. I mean, you see how this is flowing. We are water. We are crystallization. Let me get it right about here. Let's go.
Is really we're not in a position to.
Remember our little pattern up here? Okay, where we have a little block of history here, and then we shift it back and so
Pay
forth.
attention.
Fomenko's opinion is the only legitimate history. Now, this doesn't mean that nothing happened before this. The only history that our documents address themselves to is from the period of 300 AD up to modern times.
So no matter what you got, the only thing that's really connecting is 300 and on. Everything else is phantoms and duplicates passed back to a time that they're calling BC. But if there was no C, and C is just a hijack that they brought to you to convert or die, then that means your history didn't start at no BC AD. And that a lot of this stuff that we're talking about with our particular kingdom and what's going on is recent history. And we've been brainwashed. We've been Ross dry. We've been wiped clean. Our CPU, our hard drive has been wiped clean. But that DNA though, man, that energy, man, I tell you, man, when the earth is resonating with you, when the creator is resonating and flowing, when that sound frequency hits your water, your crystal, all of it comes back to life. And they knew they only had a short period of time to rock out. These parasites rock out.
Everything else is a projection of that material, that historical material, back in time, due to the errors that scholars made in trying to synchronize relative blocks of history. Remember, there are three shifts. One's 333 years, one is 1,053 years, and the other one is 1,778 years. He has an account of each one of these and how these could have happened historically to produce those shifts. But his of each one of these and how these could have happened 1,703 shifts.
Now, pay attention. He's getting more exact numbers than 3,000, 1,000, 1,800. So write these numbers down if you're serious about reconning and tying this history together. And if these kings are the same, if this queen is the same, is this kingdom the same? Let's go.
333 years, one is 1,053 years, and the other one is 1,778 years. He has an account of each one of these and how these could have happened historically to produce those shifts. But his is what we might call one radical interpretation. Now, before you say this guy's out of his mind, what Fomenko does, given one pair of duplicates, what Fomenko does is says, well, can we establish astronomically which one is valid? So, take, for example, Thucydides' Peloponnesian Wars. There are three eclipses mentioned in the Peloponnesian Wars, and they're described with great fullness. There's a lunar eclipse, an annular solar eclipse, and another lunar eclipse. You can infer what the path of totality was, and a whole deal from these descriptions. The creators of modern chronology, namely Scaliger and Batavius, trying to astronomically solve the problem of those eclipses, were not able to do it without leaving out some of the data provided by Thucydides, who, by the way, says he was a witness of this. So what Fomenko did, he said, let's make no presuppositions about this. Where are the exact astronomical solutions for this triad of eclipses? And there turns out to be one in the 11th century AD and one in the 12th century AD, and no others. So what Fomenko does quite regularly is he will appeal to astronomical arguments to try to determine which is the principal one, and his conclusion, and however crazy it may sound, is extraordinarily well argued, is that the only legitimate history is the modern history from about 300 on, and most of that, by the way, is from 900 on. From 300 on, we got like statuary documents and things like that.
He thinks most of the things that we think of as historical events really did happen, but the question is when and where, and maybe, of course, how many times. And he thinks, well, it didn't happen 10 times, it only happened once, and most of that stuff happened after 900.
After the 900s, most of it. So even after 300s, majority of what you're calling history happened after the 900s, including your Babylonian captivity, Assyrian captivity. We're even talking Egypt here, people. We're talking lots of things here, people. All this stuff plays when Egypt is here, people. Woo! For the Manco! True chronology. Alright, so dig on all that. I want to get, alright, cool. We're almost there for our dismount. let's get a piece of this. You know, this is a wonderful series. I always get excited to come back to this because it's a checkpoint. It's an energy power up for all of us. And we've been surfing the wave. Now, I told you we're going to get on this electric grid. Now, let this cat, you know, go back and get the top of this because he goes all into the fake history. How all this stuff has been faked. And, you know, talking about the Russian czars and all this stuff like that. You know, hit up Nick Research. I'm going to subscribe right now. All right. And, yeah, appreciate the recon. And, yeah, let's dig on this electric grid. We were talking about the energy, the frequency, the vibration. And we know that they hijack these ley lines and these crosses and put crosses on our crosses. So let's get a little bit of this electric universe and the ancient grid by Nick.
I want to show you just a little bit that bacteria apparently. All
right, we're going to go right into the bacteria. I said we're going there, man. I told y'all, man. Now, this is not just particular bacteria, but we're talking about molecules. And we're talking about the currents of molecules. The currents, the crystal, the current, the crystal. Let's go.
Apparently, they synthesize magnetite. Magnetite is a specific form of iron and other stuff, oxide of iron, and it's specifically magnetized. And usually the magnetite you only get in a laboratory. When you heat up the metal and you allow a strong electric field to be present for it to form, and then it cools down and his magnetic domain's structure aligns to the specific ways, and you get and you're gonna see it's a polygonal picture. This is where I want to go to, into ancient construction and how it all has to do with magneticism and electricity. And this is not chakras, this is not kundalini energy that Childress and other freaking and the other guys who talk about dosing and that guy, and it really upsets me how they can never stay on point with today's science, and how you get this kind of stuff forming and then they align, and then if you cool the metal, it's gonna be from now on you can magnetize it. There's specific ways to make it, but apparently bacteria or one-cell organism produce lines of magnetite material, magnetically sensitive material, chains of those crystals that and they can align to electric grids on the planet. And electric grids of the planet would usually, again, be in cells like this. You get polygons, you get multiple polygons. And I'm just going to show you some of that presentation on the electromagnetism, where of those crystals that and they can align to electric grids on the planet. And electric grids of the planet.
Whoa. Now we're talking about electric grids of the planet. Now watch this right quick. We're talking about this bacteria, or really these molecular structures, you know, with this magnetized energy that are aligning to planetary grids. So when they switch up the grid, they're literally switching up something in you while you're, subconscious, while you're asleep. And they're aligning you to their grids. They're aligning you to certain grids. Now watch look at how these things, let me get what he said again.
Magnetize it. There's specific ways to make it, but apparently bacteria or one-cell organism produce lines of magnetite material, magnetically sensitive material, chains of those crystals. That and they can align to electric grids on the planet. And electric grids of the planet would usually...
An electric grid of the planet would look like this. Now, how does that compare to these structures you're seeing? What's one? I don't know how to spell it. Teotihuacan, something like that. Let's check out Teotihuacan. I'm just trying to see some structures. put interlock. Pumapunku is actually what I was looking for. Let's see if we can see some of these walls here. Here's one here. I want to get a much bigger one though. Alright, just for the sake. Can I get a big one? Let's see. Kind of see it on this one. Let's see if we can get it big enough. Oh, there we go. That's all good. Look at how, you see, it's not just like, oh, layer, layer, layer. They're kind of interlocked. You know, they're different sizes and shapes locked into each other. Just like he said, this grid is, you know what I'm saying, of this energy that's being attracted to these grid areas. And this is what the grid areas look like. They're interlocking. So with these interlocking structures, it's not just about being earthquake proof and all that. It's about the energy that's being drawn into this and how this connects with this grid. It's about the energy. I tell you, these angels, man. These angels, man. Alright, let's look at this one real quick. Bang. This is a good picture right here. Right on the money. Where's it at? That's the key. Where'd it go? Don't you hide from me, man. This is what I really want to get out of this. Now, here's how a lot of these structures are built from plane to plane, especially when you deal with these giant cities. Now, let me get that again from old boy Nick. What's this? All right. Old boy Nick. What's he saying? Look at the same gridded structure. Now, how does he talk about this structure? Pay attention.
Material, magnetically sensitive material, chains of those crystals that and they can align to electric grids on the planet. And electric grids of the planet would usually, again, be...
So the electric grid of the planet, they align these crystals to the electric grid of the planet, and he's showing how these grids look. He's showing how these electric grids look on the planet, and now you can see a picture of it just like that in stone. And you tell me this is not a frequency war. Now go.
In cells like this, you get polygons, you get multiple polygons, and I'm just going to show you some of that presentation on the electromagnetism and those canals that I was talking about. I was talking about multiple canals everywhere, and I wanted to know how they were built, and now I'm starting to get a good, better look at it, because apparently cells in our body and in different bodies in nature also the microtubules, and they build lattices from these microtubules, and this is how you, in electricity, you most commonly get this angle. You get the hexagon, the crystal lattice, and the domains. They very often they give you this particular angle that I was talking about. The electricity usually either gives you squares, or let's say we take this picture, we find a 90-degree angle, or this.
See these angles? It's the same angles that we just saw. It's the same angles. You get different angles, right? Bang, bang, bang. Look how this one is built. Look at that. How do you do that and fit this into it? Do you find a stone like this and a stone like that? This is some high tech, and it has everything to do with your vibration and your frequency,
type
your
of
energy.
Angle, and this is the grids.
The grid.
This is, you can see, very similar looking system to the grids that we find that our fields are divided into, and this is again electricity direction here, and you get polygons, and you very often, oh, here is also red. Yeah. Okay, I'll take another one. Or it could look something like this, and we also see trees growing in this. And they don't want to mention the dendritic spread of electricity, dendritic whatever structure. So like this, lightning, or how the rivers would spread, also has to do a lot with electricity. So what I want to show you is
currents, water currents, water currents, electricity.
Magnetosensitive neurons meditate geomagnetic orientation. Is a free-living, transparent nematode, so those are nematodes basically, 1 millimeter in length, and that lives in soils. So nematodes get the magnetism, and they also have the microtubules that are sensitive to magnetic north and magnetic polarities, and they function specifically using this kind of electric grid. And here it talks how the electronic noise disorients migratory birds. We get problems with migrations of birds and die-outs, and a lot of stuff that you hear lately, because we build a lot of grids in our Wi-Fi and our TV signal, our radio stations, and all the pollution we do. FAA approves it, or whoever, FCC approves this thing.
440 hertz, they're hijacking your grid. You like the music, you like Rihanna, you like all this stuff, but you're not choosing the frequency it's played in. You want the new Beyonce Lemonade, but it's coming to you in the most toxic frequency you can imagine, separating you within yourself. That's all we're saying. That's all this is saying. But when you tune that, you put an intention on that crystal, you can crystallize Beyonce. You might be able to crystallize Marilyn Manson. You know what I'm saying? Hey, your power has order over their power. Their order is only a residual, a derivative of your natural creator, Hawa existence. That's all we're getting at.
Things, and you get the real damage to the real grid, to the natural grid.
Birds
so
migrate.
Actually, I like the picture here for a second, how the red hot debate about transmissible Alzheimer's. They're talking about neurons, and this is what you get here. You get these grids once again.
Man.
You get this neurons. Electricity is there, so magnetism too, and they're formed in our neurons in a dendritic pattern, and they also relate to electromagnetic fields. Magnetoreception of directional information in birds requires non-degraded vision. So this non-degraded vision, they punish this poor bird. They stick something on its face, they study it, but at least they get some information that their vision also connects to the magnetic sensitivity. If they look in north, they see brighter. If they look in south, they see dimmer. So this is how they orient to migrate, and if the colors becoming brighter. And I don't want to go into details of my...
That's cool, man. But good looking, Nick. And that's real dope. I was thinking about the birds and the migration, how they're following the energy. They're following the light, right? But the light is also the energy. It's all one thing. No duplicity. Only one. Only a unified source. A unified source. We're making our dismount right here. Sound frequencies in water. A equals 440 hertz versus A equals 432. I love y'all for choosing up and keeping me staying up. And that's what's up, man. Love to George of the LA jungle. Let's go. He says, I'm sure you have already seen the following photos of how the A equals 440 hertz versus A equals 432 looks like. They have been circulating the net for some time. Well, I thought it would be cool to generate them, using my sematoscope. Remember the sematics? And so I did in real time, real spiel. Order over chaos. Choose up. Let's go. Yeah, let's turn this down. All right, good looking. 440 hertz. McDonald's of frequencies. So this is chaos. This is 440 hertz. Chaos. Sound frequencies in water. Pure water meets chaos. Wow, look at that. How many people you know like this? How many people you know like this? Disturbing frequency. Disease, dis-ease, disharmony. All right, let's see A equals 440 hertz again with a bit more zooming. We're going to look at this chaos even closer. Some of y'all getting mad just looking at this, just feeling like chaos. You're just turning into chaos because this vibration is trying to put an intention on your crystal. Vibrate above it. You have order over it at all times. A equals 432. Swag frequency. Healthy listening. Drop nation. Wow. Watch this, watch this. Remember 440. You hear the difference? We're going to get closer. All right, let's go to 432. Hear the difference? Do you feel the difference? A bit more zooming. Let's get closer. This is what happens when 440 and 432 are played together. All right. Huh. It's almost like a constant fight you're seeing, like this pulse back and forth, not a harmony of pure chaos and not a harmony of pure water. You know what I'm saying? But just a constant rattling, shaking of the cage. They cannot coexist forever. Nothing like pictures you haven't seen before, so let's examine some of the stills, alright? So, I know if you haven't been looking at this stuff a lot, it might all kind of say, oh, well, this looks like this, and it's all kind of, but keep watching and keep feeling and keep vibing, and you'll definitely see, especially with the ones that show all the different patterns and all that kind of stuff, and it shows you the separation, the pure separation of 440. That's a different somatics experiment. I've never seen one like this before, but it's a very interesting take when you're looking at it through the somatoscope, or however you call it, the semiscope, the somatoscope, however you're looking at it. All right, but yeah, listen, you took some still pictures, and I'm very interested in those. Let's go. A couple more seconds. All right, so let's see if we can, see a difference. You know what I'm saying, in the stills. Let's see. All right, so take a good picture, take a good look. A equals 440. Four, 3, 2. You see? Can you see the? Let's see, slight change here. Let's see. I was gonna do it side by side. So you see the 440. Look again at the 432. And let's see it side by side. Can you see the difference? And this is why he did the experiment, because you can see the difference in the somatics real quick when you see the sand vibrate to the different vibrations, do, ra, mi, fa, so, all that. They go up the scale in 440, 432. You clearly see the separation. You clearly see the unity of 432. Those are the pictures that we saw. Now this is a different, again, experiment. So, and this still, can you see the difference? Right here, but, let's keep going. There is none, as the frequency difference is only 8 hertz. That's what he's trying to say. So he says, don't let yourself be fooled by images you have been shown on the net. Investigate the truth for yourself. It is said that a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, I would add that a video is a perfect shot of reality. Okay. So like I said, I'm surfing this wave with you. So I didn't know what he was really trying to show. I couldn't really, see. I can hear the difference, and we can feel the difference. But he's showing through his experimentation that, there's not really much difference. It's only 8 hertz. Now I'm glad we have time for one more, so we can compare these things. All right, so according to this semiscope, all right, wasn't this interesting fun? Okay, well, hey. This Georgia the jungle, LA jungle, we surf the wave, and that's why I said we try to be very fair. So I'm not just going to show you one side of it or this side, but now we can take that and we can see another experimentation. And, you can do all this stuff yourself. You can do all your own equipment, but there are some that, say, hey, there's no difference in frequency, and we just went through our studies and realized there's a major difference in frequency. There's a major difference in the intention on the crystal. So to say that there's no difference in the frequency, especially 440, that 8 hertz is mega. And you're going to see it right here on this iron sheet. Let's start with 432. We're going to go up the scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. All right, let's start with 432. And again, we're just doing experimentation. Do it for yourself. If it checks out, if you feel, if it's a, comforting vibration and beautiful thing to you, if you think it's no difference, it's all good. They're just changing it to 440 in 1952, 53. The ISO, International Standards Organization, the BSI, British Standards Institute, all these people changing frequency to 440. If there's no difference, why make that change? Why make it a standardized change to 440? Why is Hitler experimenting with the same frequency on his subjects, separating them? What do I mean by separate them? All right, let's make our dismount, and I'm glad we got some equitable research here. So this is 432. You see the sand coming together. Look at it very clearly. All the lines are going to get sharper and sharper. The longer this sound, the longer this vibration goes. All these things connect. Now let's look at 440. A equals 440. Right away, you see the difference. So I don't know about the other experimentation, but I'm looking at it with my own eyes. When a different frequency hits it, now you have duplicity. You have separation right away. And this is what you're getting out of the McDonald's of frequencies on the radio. Back to 432. You don't think numbers matter, LA Jungle Man? So if this sheet was much larger, you would have a bunch of these shapes all over the sheet. It's just cut off, but it's not cutting itself off. The sheet is limited, but it's nothing but these geometric patterns, perfect circles. Everything comes into line by a sound, a frequency, an energy, a vibration. What happens when they cut you off and give you a separating frequency? You become separate. Still don't think it makes a difference? Still don't think that 8 hertz makes a difference? Again, this was larger. All this will be connecting in some pattern that we can't even see because it's a large looping pattern. But all this will be connecting. Look at how perfect these lines are. Look how perfect these lines are. Watch 440 hertz. This is what's coming out your radio, your CD, your MP3. That's why we're working on our own solutions to put our family in 432. Our app, products, all this stuff coming to make it very easy to get all your stuff tuned up. And it's for you. Because this is you. You are connected. We are already connected. Our seed, our nature, our energy, our vibration is connected already. Look at how beautiful that looks in 432 equals 9. 440, 4 plus 4 equals 8. That's a different frequency. Look at all the sand scattered, all the sand scattered, all the sand scattered, everything broken. Let's look at one more. There's no perfect lines in 440. Now watch all the same scattered. You see all the sand scattered? Watch what happens when this sound vibration of 432 hits this scattered sand. The flock comes back together again, based on sound, based on the word. Hawa brings the flock back together in order, based on sound. You hear it internally. Ruach. Ruach. Hawa. When they hijacked you and put pyramids over your sacred ley lines and your sacred trees, they put this frequency and this intention and looped you in a scattered frequency. Then you have disinformation agents coming out saying, oh, it doesn't matter. Well, we can do these experiments for ourselves. And once again, back to life, back to order, back to flow, back to electricity, the currents, the flow of water. I love y'all. Stay up, suit up, and keep your flow flowing, moving water. Stay up, suit up.